started. And, we just want to welcome you here. We're glad that you're here, taking interest in what we're doing here. And what I'd like to do before we get started is just stop for a moment and ask a blessing on the food that we're going to eat. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for learning about health, and we ask your presence and your blessing to be with us this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, my name is Bob, for those of you that don't know. I know I've met some of you at Moore Park Multicultural Affairs, and some of you are part of our church here. Some of you have been in our classes in the past. We also have Jean, Raylene, Laura, Kevin, and they're going to be helping with the cooking class. We bring in experts, the ones that really know how to cook.
Really?
Yeah.
That's true.
So, you'll enjoy what we're going to be doing. My question for you tonight, I just want to take a few minutes to kind of introduce this whole process. Why are you here?
Need to eat better.
You want to eat better? Okay.
Feel better.
You want to feel better?
Healthier options.
Healthier options, okay? Oh, She wants to learn how the recipes that the Adventists have, especially at potluck when we have people can try their food. I think, yeah, they're delicious. And there's a variety, not necessarily, and this is what I want to kind of share a little bit, that there's some of us that are here, any other reason why you're here? We're all probably looking to educate ourselves. And our focus is really on lifestyle. And that was another question that I had. What's lifestyle? You hear it so much out in the media and everything, but what is lifestyle? How you live. So it isn't just our physical health, but it encompasses all of our health, physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, and all this plays a factor. There's all interactions with all of this. And so what we're doing in this series is focusing a little bit more on the physical side, on nutrition. And because we know if our bodies are getting good nutrition, we can think clearer. We can make better decisions. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And so I was thinking, our Healthy Living Hub, this is just one in a series that we've done. We started back in, I think in September, with a one-night kind of introduction to the whole spectrum of health. And we had the room almost filled up. It was an interesting evening. And then from that, there was an interest in doing a cooking class. People said, I want to learn how to cook better. And so we had a 4-week cooking class back in October, November, just before the holidays. Then after the holidays, we did a 10-week Better Living, Healthy Living class that covered, we were able to now do some exercises, simple exercises. We had one lady in a wheelchair, and she was just doing it just like everybody else. And so we had a lot of fun, but we had kind of exercises, education, and then we had 1 or 2 food demonstrations. And again, it kind of tied this whole thing in. So our plan is this is going to be a 4-week class, starting tonight. Again, there's no charge. This is free of charge, because we feel that people need to hear the good news about health, and without any obligations. And so what we're trying to do is to provide that for you in a fun way. When this is over, we're going to have a 2-week break, and we're going to have another 4-week class, kind of on general health. And I think we're going to have a 2-week break and have another 4-week class. Then we're going to have a 2 or 3 week break, and in the fall, we're going to have another 10-week class, where we're covering more of everything that we're talking about in detail. Some of it's repetitious, but for me, I need to hear this 2 or 3 times, at least, before it sinks in. Sometimes I just take it all my life. And so that's why we do this, and we open it up for questions, and people have different opinions, and we like to hear your opinions, so feel free to ask questions. Yes?
Well, I am curious about you. Are you going to get into that?
personally?
Are you, yes, you personally?
Okay, personally, say my name is Bob. I'm a health educator. I have a master's in public health. And I've been doing health education and outreach. The reason I came here to California was I worked at the hospital for 6 or 7 years as the health educator, doing different classes and outreach to the community. The whole purpose was to keep people well. So I have a master's in public health. I'm a certified health education specialist. And so I kind of coordinate some of the things that the Seventh-day Adventist Church here is doing, and encouraging people to live better, to think better, and everything else. So that's kind of what?
I bet he makes good bread.
Thank you.
Bob the baker.
Well, one of the, I will participate toward the end of the class and probably use the bread recipe to make some rolls. We're talking about that. But we're all, kind of on different levels. Some of us have been probably eating inappropriately, high fat, high sugar, high refined carbohydrate diet, and we're kind of we're looking at, a better way of health, and we want to move in that direction. So some of us are coming in that direction. There's some of us that are already eating, really wonderful. Maybe they're vegans or whatever. And we're always looking for alternatives, for different options, for different recipes. And so we want to learn how to, incorporate all these into our lifestyle. It's not easy. In today's society where you go out for fast food, to really make good choices. And so what we're trying to do is to help you make some of those choices. Some of us have families. Some of us work. Some of us don't work. We're retired. And so, we have busy schedules. And we don't have time to sit down and maybe prepare and take the time to do what we really would like to do. And so we're looking for maybe some quick recipes. What can I do to throw together that's still helpful, and still good, but is moving away from the fast foods and the things that are that way. Some people like to cook. They like to take the time to sit down and really do it well. And others, they say they have no time, they're so busy. They're lucky to, to turn on the oven or the microwave. And so we got people at all levels. And so, the purpose of what we're doing here is to provide recipes for many people as a transition. And as I say, when you come to a potluck, as good as those potlucks are, there's probably better ways of cooking and there's better recipes. But for many of us, this is a transition. If you try to go from a high-fat or high-meat diet with lots of sugar and lots of refined calories, all of a sudden jump and try to become a vegan, it's going to be a shock to the system. And it's probably going to be such that you're going to say, it's not worth it, I don't like it, it's terrible, your body's going to go through withdrawal and everything else, and you're going to give up. And so what's important is that we transition slowly and not do it all at once. And that's why what we try to do is to give you ideas, different concepts that will help you, through this process. So change slowly, educate yourself. We're going to throw out different ideas, different health tips, but the important thing is to educate yourself. We tried to, in our last class, we had a dietitian come in for 2 evenings. He's doing a presentation and answering questions. And to me, this was very, very helpful. And then you can now ask questions. What's on your mind? And get it from, I'm not a dietitian, I'm a health educator, but I'm not a dietitian. So I know I can give advice and only so far. And so we want to make sure that if you have questions, that we give the appropriate answer. And we're looking at all options, alternatives to maybe what you've been used to. So our class, we've listened to the people that have been here before. They've made a lot of suggestions. And so we tried to incorporate some of those suggestions in the 4-week class. And so really what we're trying to do tonight and the next 3 weeks after tonight, where we're going to have demonstrations. Then you'll be able to sample the food and that's the fun part. And then you're going to be able to kind of interact and ask, talk to each other and ask questions that way. So 4 weeks, as we mentioned earlier, just kind of, for those that came in late, the bathrooms are out the door to the right, men's and women's. And I would encourage you, each week is a little bit different. It kind of stands on its own, so if you have a friend, bring a friend. We don't mind having, guests come in even for just one evening. Bring a friend. And then what we also encourage you to do is to try the recipes at home. So what you see here, and we'll ask you, what did you try? Did you try anything? Did it work? How did it turn out? What was the reaction of your family if you had other people trying it? So anyhow, that's really what we're trying to do, and I'm going to turn the time over to Raylene. Raylene,
Yes.
are you ready?
I am.
Okay. We want to thank those that are going to be demonstrating. There's a tremendous amount of work that they put into this. Here it comes, okay.
Okay, so it's everything noodle. And you can see how many different ways you can make the noodles. Now, Dora's going to do the fettuccine Alfredo. Vegan, no cream, vegetarian, and she'll show you that. And Jean is going to do garlic noodles right now. And he'll start up the fire, but he's going to use regular wheat spaghetti and also gluten-free spaghetti. So you can kind of try, and I wanted to put these out so that you could see. Now I'm going to do a chow mein.
So will you say where you can get them?
Yes. The gluten-free is from Trader Joe's,
Okay.
and we can do this, after the demo, and write your questions down, and if you need to ask something while we're doing it, go ahead, and that's fine. And if you remember something at the end, great, let us know. But a lot of our products do come from Trader Joe's because they do offer the vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. We do a lot of recipes from scratch as well. So I think, Dora, yours is the Kecco, right? Fettuccine?
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes. And this is not gluten-free, right?
It's regular fettuccine.
Okay.
I had a hard time finding fettuccine gluten-free. They have all kinds of other pastas, but fettuccine I didn't find.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. There's a new market in town called Higgins. I don't know, they might have it. Whole Foods might have it, maybe Bristol Farms. But you know what? You can use anything. Like sometimes in a pinch, if I'm going to make chow mein and I don't have the egg noodles, I don't use egg noodles anymore because our family has become vegans. But you can always substitute spaghetti. Spaghetti noodles, whether it's gluten-free or durum wheat, works great for any type of noodles. Because it's really how you cook it. So don't get it mushy. Make sure it's al dente, so if you have to saute it or mix it, it gets it, it still has that little bite to it. So the way you cook your noodles is the most important thing. And of course, what you put on it. That's the flavor in this. So these are the noodles right here. Jean's going to do the gluten-free and regular spaghetti.
So the recipe that we're starting with is the lemony hummus noodle salad. Now, of course, this is really flexible because I'm going to do the noodle portion, and then you can use it either as a noodle spaghetti dish, or you can continue on and put it into a salad for the meal that we're doing. So it's actually two parts. The base noodle, which is just a garlic noodle, spaghetti basically. It can be used in a lot of different ways, different things. You can eat it with, other vegetables, so on and so forth. So we're gonna start with that. That's at the bottom here, and it's really, really simple. It's basically just exactly what it is, garlic and noodles. So, thing is, you can use fresh garlic, chopped garlic. If you want to do something quick, Trader Joe's has these frozen garlics. You keep them frozen, and then you just, dump out whatever you need. And yeah, it just makes it easy so you don't have to do a lot of peeling and chopping and whatever, so. Yeah, it's just in frozen cubes, like frozen ice cubes, but just garlic. So they prepared the garlic already and just use what you need, exactly.
And it's basically a clove turkey cube.
Basically, roughly that. Okay, so we will start with that. And with this garlic, you can just add that and then add a little bit of olive oil. And this will go pretty quickly, so we'll just let it heat up. And then as the garlic gets just about, depends on how you like it. Some people like it toasty brown, and it gives a nutty flavor. Some people like it a little more plain. So I always don't start with too hot of a fire because the garlic will burn pretty quick if you got it really going, right? But this way you can kind of control it. You can just let it come up, and when it gets to the point where you like the garlic, you just toss in your noodles, and it's just a matter of just getting it hot and warm and coated, and then it's ready. You salt to taste. Now, obviously we try to use as little salt as possible, and with these dishes, when you put it into a salad, you really don't need a lot of additional flavors. We're trying to keep the natural flavors of the food as much as possible. So you just need a little for taste, and after a while, like if you're used to eating things really seasoned, this is a lifestyle change. So what it is you start to eat this, and over time, now it's not going to happen right away, but over time, your palate will adjust to a lesser amount of salt or lesser those things. So that's the idea, is that you start with slowly reducing down the amount of salt or seasonings, not seasonings as much, but you just want to keep it so that you keep the natural flavors of the food. So, and the thing is about vegetables and stuff is that the flavors are so good that you really don't need very much, additional flavors. Start with good vegetables, and as you can see when Kevin does the other part of this, which is the salad dressing, the lemon dressing, it's really very just basic ingredients, not a lot of, additional things they have put in. So therefore, at the end of your meal, you actually know exactly what you've got in here. Like if you buy a lot of the foods that's already done in the market, that's already packaged, they'll add sugar. If you ever seen this documentary called Fed Up, they talk about the amount of sugar we've added to our foods. And they said there's some 650,000 products in your market. And about 80% of those have additional sugar added to it. So, but it's not that adding sugar is bad, it's just that you don't know how much they've added. But when you add it, you know exactly how much you've added. So that's the real difference between having somebody else do it and then having, you do it yourself. So you're in control of that. So pretty much, I've got it about medium, and you can take it further than that if you want. I mean, that's just starting to get a little bit golden yellow, but some people like it. You want toasty brown, you can get to that nutty kind of flavor and mix in your noodles. And the garlic flavor will change as you cook it more and more. The browner it gets, the more nuttier the flavor. But some people don't like it because it might add a tiny bit of bitterness to it. So, I think this is about right. And we'll just start with the gluten-free. So you prepare your noodles just like your spaghetti, just like you would normally. and you cook it to, usually it's just al dente, because you're gonna cook it again a little bit in here, not a lot. And so,
Salt really bad for you.
what's that?
Salt really bad for you, or just too much salt? Bad.
No, just very light on the salt. You can add a tiny bit, and when you do this, you can just add the amount of oil that you need. Like you'll see that it needs a coating. So, you know, depending on how much noodles and the type of noodle, like gluten-free noodles sometimes may require just a tiny bit more just to get it so it's coated. And we don't want an excess amount, but you want an amount on here so that the noodles are actually coated with the flavor, the actual flavor of the garlic that's in the oil itself.
So Jean, don't forget to tell them about our mushroom seasoning.
Okay, you tell them.
Well, we actually use this in our home. We hardly ever use salt anymore. We use very little, you know, we're Chinese, but we use very little soy sauce, hardly any soy sauce. Maybe sometimes just to get that little flavoring, because soy sauce and a lot of the Chinese sauces have a lot of sodium content. And so we don't use a lot of salt in our home because we love the taste of the natural food. So if you taste the foods before you actually put your seasonings, they're, some foods have like a sweet taste, some have a nutty taste, some have their own, like asparagus, their own particular taste, which is a little strong. But the mushroom seasoning, which is made from mushroom, we get at the Chinese market, and we buy it by the pack, and then we just use a little of it. So since we moved to Simi Valley about 2 years ago, and when we moved here, for some reason, we just our family as a whole decided that we were going to become vegans. I was vegetarian. Jean and Kevin were not. They were still eating a little fish and chicken, and they were still having chicken. And we just decided as a family that we were going to try being vegan. And so we cut down on our salt, on our sugar, just, a lot of things we just cut out. But the mushroom seasoning is great if you want, that little bit of flavor. So you're welcome to try it. After when you come up, just, go ahead and open it.
What else in your mushroom seasoning?
It's, I'll get the nutrition content for you next week, and I'll bring a pack of it. But it's pretty natural. So, but feel free to try. Oh, no. Okay, so as Jean is going to do the regular spaghetti, Kevin will go ahead and show you how he's going to do his salad. You don't need this, right?
And you guys, when you can try the gluten-free and see the texture difference. There is a slight difference. They're getting better with the gluten-free. It used to be just not even close, but now it's getting a little bit better. And you're going to have to experiment on how you want to cook it if you want to do gluten-free. Of course, the regular noodles, that's, we've all done that. So.
Okay, I'm the salad part. So let's start with the dressing. I kind of found a dressing by a chef that I like, and then I sort of altered it because I kind of did it to my taste. So what this dressing is basically it just has equal parts lemon juice to olive oil, and then you use, it calls for half a cup of olive oil and half a cup of lemon juice. And then 3 tablespoons of honey, and what I usually do is I just add a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper just in case. But the nice thing about lemon juice is that if you taste it, it's actually kind of, because it has a tart flavor, it's actually a little salt. It adds a little saltiness to it. So you don't really need to add a little salt. You don't really need to add too much salt in this dressing. And then what I do is I put 3 tablespoons of hummus. And what I do, I just get, I just go to the store. I get this at Valley Produce. This is hummus in a can. I take 3 tablespoons of this, and I just mix everything together. And if you actually double the recipe, instead of half a cup oil to half a cup lemon juice, if you double everything, it yields a bottle of salad dressing like this. And what you can do is you just keep this in the refrigerator, and every time you want to have salad, you can just put some of this on. So, and the thing that about the hummus is, other than the fact that I like hummus, is that it kind of is almost like a honey mustard type dressing. So sometimes if you like creamy dressings, but you want to wean yourself off the creamy portion of the dressing, which is basically, they either put cream or sour cream. This is a lot healthier because basically it's just olive oil, and use a good olive oil, lemon juice, and then just some hummus, and then some honey. The thing is, then, if you want to squeeze your own lemon, what I do, I squeeze the lemon and I filter it so that I don't get the pulp in it. Otherwise, if you're a little lazy, you don't feel like doing it, you can just go to the market, and I know they just sell lemon juice in a bottle, and you can use that. And it works just fine. It's the same, no difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this salad. And the salad basically calls for 1 cup of each of romaine spinach, arugula, a cup of sugar snap peas, some grape tomatoes, and actually I'm using, these are sugar plum tomatoes. So you can do cherry tomatoes, any little tomatoes. Pepper, I happen to like green bell peppers, but if you want to use red or orange or yellow, that's perfectly fine. And you just chop everything up and put it in. And these are the ingredients that I like. So this is what I put in my salad. And the amount is not super critical. The nice thing about the salad is, other than the fact that everything is raw and you don't have to cook anything, so you can't really go wrong, is that you can put more or less of what you like. If you want more of a certain type of vegetable, you can just put it in. So you can't really go wrong with this. So basically, I'm just going to cut up the pepper. And anyway, again, any way you want to chop this is perfectly fine. If you like cubes, you can cube it. If you like strips, you can do it. It's just basically according to how you like it and what you want to do the salad. So I'm just going to chop it up. I usually like little strips, so I just cut up strips of the green bell pepper. And I'm going to just put it in a 1 cup measuring cup so you kind of know how much it is for this recipe. So approximately you can see this pepper is pretty large. So probably half of this large pepper would make about a cup. Okay. And then I usually, so you can see that's approximately a cup. So you put that in. The next thing are cucumbers, and with cucumbers, again, you can chop it any way. You can slice it. I just kind of chop it, and as I chop, I kind of rotate so it gets, they kind of form kind of like this little sort of weird triangle shape. So these are the Persian cucumbers, and they're smaller and they're really nice and crispy. And approximately the cucumber, about 1.5 cucumbers makes about a cup. Pretty much one of these, regular sized Persian cucumbers will yield about a cup. So you can see that's about a cup of the Persian cucumbers. And then the tomatoes, again, this is approximately a cup. So I just add those in. And as far as sugar snap peas, and these you could, if you don't like these raw, you could zap it a little bit, just for a little while in the microwave. But I like them raw. And again, it's nice that everything in the salad is raw, so you don't really have to cook it. So this is, you just grab a sponge and put it in a cup, and that's about a cup full. And then you put that in. And pretty much that's your salad. And then what you do is I just toss it with I like arugula, because I like arugula has kind of a nutty flavor. So I like this. So you can put, just grab a handful of each, approximately put it in. And for ease, I buy these at Trader Joe's, and I like to get the ones that are organic. And it's nice because these are already pre-washed, so you don't need to wash them. So that's grab a handful of arugula and a handful of spinach, and then throw it in. And again, you can, if you like some other types of vegetables, you can mix your other type of vegetables in it. And then I'm just going to toss it in my hand. And then you can add the dressing. So you add as much or as little as you like to taste. And then you can just mix it up. And it's a really nice raw salad. And I usually eat a salad every day for lunch. And I just eat a salad. But if you want to make more of a meal of it, what we're doing, we're pairing it together with the noodles. And sometimes I like to eat my salad with some, I even like to put rice in it sometimes. Or you can put noodles, and then it makes a nice meal. The only thing is that possibly is missing from this is probably some protein, and because we're vegetarians, I usually put tofu in it. And you can either prepare your own tofu, but if it's too difficult, I know they sell different types of tofu that are already packaged at the market or at Trader Joe's. And you can just buy it like that and have it cold, just slice them up and put it in your salad and mix it with the noodles, and you have a little bit of everything. You'll have some of the carbs from the noodles, and then you have a little protein. So that's it for this salad.
Yeah, sometimes you don't think of eating tofu raw, but if you just get the firm and cut it up small, when you put your dressing on, it just coats the tofu enough and it gives you the flavoring that you need. It's actually a very nice way, and you can get them at Costco too. They come in large boxes.
I mean, they sell tofu that's also seasoned a little bit. But if you buy the seasoned tofu, just check the ingredients and check the sodium on it to see if it's not too high. Sometimes it's a little more palatable because it has already seasoning in it.
But you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can control how much you put in. So when you get it without, just try it and taste it and go, oh, wait a minute, I need a little bit more. And then, that'll be your threshold. And then the idea is to bring it down. If it's kind of a little bit high at first, that's fine. And then just slowly bring it down as your palate changes, and it will make a big difference in what you're actually putting into your body. Okay.
Let's see that.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Okay. Hello, it's so good to see some familiar faces and new faces too. I'm Laura, and I will be presenting the vegan fettuccine alfredo. How many of you like fettuccine alfredo? Used to. That's where we were. Yes. And let me tell you, it's a really quick story. We used to love it, and when we go out to eat Italian food, that's what we would order. And after 2 times that we ordered it, my husband got so sick, twice, years apart, and he ended up in the emergency room twice from food poisoning because they put egg in it, and they also put the heavy whipping cream and butter, and so you're right, it's very rich, and the doctors there told him that when you eat it out, it's very, very common to get food poisoning from it because of the ingredients. So we stopped eating fettuccine alfredo altogether. We couldn't even look at it. But when we found this recipe, I reintroduced it back into our family, and now everybody loves it. So I am a teacher, and I like participation. So would everybody please look at your, everybody has a recipe? Okay, good. And I will be doubling the recipe so we have enough to sample. As we spoke earlier, I was looking for healthier pasta. By healthier, again, I mean like there's some quinoa pasta, brown rice pasta, all kinds of pasta. But I couldn't find it. You substitute it, as it's there. I will not be that. Okay, so we're ready to start. This is my vitamin. And we already pre-cooked the pasta. Where's my pasta?
Right here?
Thank you. And, okay. And so just regular, package directions, but I did put sun-dried tomatoes in, just to add that green in it. And the last 3 or 4 minutes of boiling, you add the sun-dried tomatoes, and it makes for a very, very delicious addition. Okay, so what is the first ingredient? That's the pasta, so we're down to the coconut milk. Okay, so 1 can of coconut milk here, but I said I was doubling it, and it's really easy. That's the nice thing about this recipe. How many of you are used to cooking with coconut milk? Oh, okay, good. So there are different types of coconut milk. There's heavy coconut milk. There's coconut cream. If you can't find anything with coconut cream, like at Trader Joe's, that's all they sell. You just add water and water it down. Did you know that coconut milk has sugar in it? A lot of it does. So I try to look for the unsweetened. As Jean mentioned, we like to know how much sugar goes in the food, right? So that's how many counts did I put in? 1 so far, and I mixed this one up. It is kind of. You have to mix it up. It comes. Okay. All right. So what's my next ingredient? Cashews. Thank you.
Where do you get your Thai coconut milk from?
This is from Sprouts. In Sprouts. They also have it at Lassen's. And I believe Vaughn's had it, but now that they've been bought out, I don't know. This is from Sprouts in Thousand Oaks, unsweetened. And they also have organic.
You know there is still a Vaughn's in Simi.
Yes, there is. 2 remaining or 1? Anyway, yes. Okay, so half a cup of cashews, and that gives it the creaminess. I think I need more. 1 more, please. That was for 1 recipe. We were originally only going to do 1 recipe, but it was very little pasta, so another half a cup. Okay. Next ingredient. Thank you.
I have to ask a question.
Yes,
I've heard that raw cashews are not safe.
they're going to be cooked. Kevin, can you give me everything on one? Thank you. Okay, and our next one is nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is very nutritional. Do you know what it has in it? Vitamins? Vitamin B's. You get your B's from it. So it's really good on popcorn. And what ways do you use it? You don't use it? It gives food a nutty flavor. It's a good substitute for cheese. You can even make vegan Parmesan cheese with it by adding spices to it and use it as a topping. So they sell it at health food stores. Lassen's has it, and again, Sprouts, and some Whole Foods have it. Yes, yes. And like I said, we put it on top of our popcorn and just season it with what I make my chicken-like seasoning that's totally vegan and it's just spices. Season it with that and it's delicious and it's healthier than butter. So that's our nutritional yeast. And that's 2 tablespoons. We're doubling, so we're going to put how much? I'm sorry. Just go around. My kids get tired of that. Okay. And then the lemon juice. Lemon juice, 1 tablespoon. And as I said, I had this already for one recipe. So that's 2. And then our seasoning. For the seasoning salt, use whatever you like to use. You can use Lori's. Like I said, I use my chicken-like seasoning to season it also. Or there's also Herbamare, which is lower in salt, or no salt whatsoever. So use what you normally use. Don't go out and, make it easy on yourself. of you do who have been coming to the classes, but I'll bring it, we'll do more recipes for you. We'll get it out as we come. Okay, tablespoon of onion. One, two, less garlic powder. And I always put less. Recipes usually call for less garlic powder. It's so strong, but if you like it, put more, right? In place of the garlic powders, you can caramelize. I think it's on the recipe, onions, and then you can also saute in there garlic, and it's a lot richer. But we did it for sake of time with this, and it's still good. You'll see the difference. But be creative, add what you like. And it works. The main ingredients that's important to follow is the coconut milk and the cashews because that will make it creamy. But the rest seasonings have fun. Add what you like. Right? So we're ready. Ready to mix it all up. Turn on my stove. About 3. How do you turn the stove on?
It's not going on
No, she does not.
right now.
Yay! Thank you. Okay. You want it to be clean. You can also make this in your own, it doesn't have to be a Vitamix. It just takes a little longer, but it works. And to check for the creaminess, you just do that. And if you feel anything, feel more, it's creamy. You can go on. So now I'm going to put it in my pan or pot. I think the recipe says put it in a pot. And this is a very important part to this recipe. Do not overboil it because it clumps up and it won't be creamy. So 2 minutes is 2 minutes works, about 2 minutes. Once it starts getting just a little bit thick because it thickens as it goes along, when you turn the flame off, it still keeps on thickening. Sometimes we overdo it and it's still good, but it's not creamy. So it already feels thick. So we'll do that. And at the end, I'm going to put in some vegetables. These are zucchini and bell peppers, but any color you like. Broccoli goes great with it. Anything you like with your fettuccine. Asparagus, even Brussels sprouts. Go at it. Have fun. Add what you like. But this is what we're putting in today. Any questions or? You're good? What else would you add? What do you add to your mushrooms? Mushrooms, yes. Olives too are good. So, okay. All right. Now we're ready to put in our pasta. And of course, you know the trick. You put a little bit of oil in it so it doesn't stick while it's waiting there to be served. Excited? Maybe we made too much pasta. One was too little?
Maybe 1.5.
Maybe 1.5. Well, let's see. Let's mix it. We're almost ready.
Dora, how does it do as leftovers?
If you leave it watery, like a little bit watery, it gets hard and you might want to add a little bit of water. But if it's dry, it will plump up and it will still taste very good, it just feels like it has Parmesan cheese on it, or because it's clumpy. But it's still very good. It works. See, it's pretty. I wish we had cameras here, but it's pretty creamy and not too thick. I think it's perfect. Put a little bit more in, and then we're done. Was that easy? Very easy. It
When
just
do you add your vegetables?
I put it at the end. I just don't want to leave the sun-dried tomatoes in there. I love sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to try to get them all. Anyway, I'll work with that later. Just take time. And that's about it. And I'll just put that on my plate. And I'm just going to top it with the edges. So it looks pretty, right? We want it to look pretty. Okay. And there we go. Where are we putting it?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a chow mein, and excuse my hands, but when you're working with noodles, this is the easiest thing. You can use tongs and you can use anything, but you know, I cooked the noodles a little earlier, and I put a little sesame oil on it. I washed my hands with non-toxic soap, and I'm just going to kind of get it unclumped a little. And how many of you use sesame? I have. It's, and if, I wish I could, I don't know if you can smell this, but let me put it on a plate so you can smell it. It's got a really nice smell. So you use sesame oil. And it has a very nice smell and the flavor. You know, it's like if you use a lot of, yes. As soon as the noodles cook, I put the sesame oil. Because when noodles are hot, it tends to absorb a little bit more. So, you know, it's in there, and it's got a really nice smell and a wonderful flavor. Actually, if we just put a little seasoning on that, whether you use Dora's seasoning or nutritional yeast or a little bit of sea salt, and with the sesame oil, you can probably just eat that like that. It's really good. You know, with some raw vegetables, it's really yummy. So, pardon me? This is not. This is a wheat noodle. It's just a chow mein noodle. So that's what, are you gluten-free? How many people here are gluten-free?
Try. I'd go and get some gluten-free for you right now if you had to cook.
And you know, you can get, like I said, you can substitute gluten-free spaghetti and it'll turn out just as well. The Asian noodles has a lot of different kinds. There's rice noodles and there's egg noodles. And if you use the rice noodles, you don't need to worry about being gluten-free. So I'm just gonna, I like to use olive oil, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil. The recipe that you see is something that you can follow, but when I cook, I just kind of cook by feel. That's, how many of you here cook by feel and not by recipe? Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that Jean did. You can cut up a few cloves of garlic and throw it in there, but I'm just, for expediency, I'm just going to use the Trader Joe's garlic. And And you can, I think it says that you can use 3 cloves. Each of these cubes is a clove. I'm just going to use more because I like my noodles a little bit more garlic. So, I'm going to put like 4 in there. And since I've already cooked the noodles, which is what you're going to want to do, I'm going to put my tofu in there. I'm going to let my garlic brown, and then I'm going to put my tofu in there. We eat tofu pretty much all the time. It's a good protein, and it's really easy to cook. So I'm cutting them about this size, and we get our tofu from Costco because they're organic. So I'm really glad that they did that because they were carrying tofu that wasn't organic, but now, we just go there. And I buy 4 or 5 cases of this per week. That's how much tofu we eat. So I'm just going to put the tofu in here and saute it, till it gets kind of like brown.
What, is it firm or extra?
The tofu that they sell at Costco is firm. So all I do, it comes in a block like this. I cut this block in half, and then all I do is just go like this to get that size. It's about 1.5 inches, about 1/2 inch. And you can cube it, you can do it any way you want. It doesn't matter. I just like to do it this way. Because it sort of, it kind of represents chicken sometimes. Kind of has that chicken feel. And feel free to come up if you want to look at, how it's cooking. But I'm just going to brown it. And I'm going to put a little of the mushroom seasoning on it. Very little, as you can see, and a little bit more olive oil. I think originally I probably put about 2 tablespoons, so it's about 3 tablespoons.
You off the onions?
I'm going to put in the onions a little later. Yeah, a little bit later.
Absorb too much?
Well, because they get kind of soft, and sometimes, people still like the crunch of the onion. So if you don't like the crunch of the onion, put it in with the garlic.
Okay, so you put it in.
And then it'll soften up. So when the tofu browns, I'm just going to put some of the onions in. And, the recipe calls for a small, medium, or a small to medium onion. If you don't like onions, don't put a lot, don't put any. It's still going to taste good with whatever you put. So just imagine when you're at home and you're cooking, the fire that you have at home on your stove is probably going to be a little softer than this one. So it should cook in, faster time than right now. But, yeah, so as you can see, the onions still,
What's the question?
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the recipe, this hoisin sauce.
Yes, the hoisin sauce, and I have a vegetarian hoisin sauce here. And you should be able to get this in most markets, I would think.
Is that
You don't have to have it. Trust me. Even if you didn't use any of the soy sauce or any of the hoisin sauce, and you just put your vegetables and this in with a little salt, a touch of sugar, it's going to taste great. So don't worry about not being able to have soy sauce or, yeah.
That's similar to,
Sorry.
is it similar to
It has
is.
plums.
It is.
Oh, yeah, it's more of a fruit kind of.
It does have soy products in here, so it is like a soy sauce, but it's not. It's not pure. They added some things because the flavoring is different. It's got a little bit more of a tangy flavoring to it. You'll taste it later on when you add this. It's not like adding just soy. Now, soy sauces it's more like a salt or saltiness to it. This has a little bit of sweetness to it. This is a little bit like Raylene said, a little bit of plum and other things mixed in with it. But this is a vegetarian one. And they also do a mushroom sauce like this. That's also vegetarian.
Well, the mushroom sauce actually, you can get oyster sauce, and how they make it vegetarian is by using the mushroom. So you can get an imitation oyster sauce. And by the way, I don't know if any of you have seen this pan. It's called a green pan at Costco. It's amazing. It doesn't have any of the Teflon or, it's basically, it is a green, eco-friendly pan. And it's amazing to cook it. You know, when I first tried it, it was sort of weird. I thought it wasn't going to brown my foods, but it is a great pan. So I just threw, all the veggies in there. I'm going to just let it cook down. And I'm going to add my sauces now. And so I'm going to guess, I think it said 3 tablespoons. I'm going to, a squirt is about, it's a little shy of a tablespoon. And then I'm going to put a little of this soy sauce. And this soy sauce actually is, it's pretty good. It doesn't have any preservatives in it. And I think it's gluten-free. Because there are some soy sauces that have gluten in it.
And do you buy all your sauces at a Chinese local market?
I do. When we lived in the valley, we had no problem going. But there are no Asian markets here in Simi Valley. And so once a month, I make a trip to Van Nuys, where there's a 99 Ranch Market. And in Reseda, there's it's called Bang Luck, and it's kind of like a Thai market. Do you go there? Yeah. Sometimes I like that little market. It's really tiny. But sometimes I like that little market better than, the larger ones. So, and here's the secret. About 2 years ago, when you bought the rice noodles, have you ever used rice noodles? Okay. Rice noodles used to just sit out. They just used to put it out. And I think about 2 years ago, the FDA required that all the markets refrigerate their rice noodles. Horrible, horrible, because they get hard, and when you try to cook them, they don't have that nice, pliable texture. And so Bangkok Market in Reseda is the only market that I know of that still puts them on the shelf. They haven't refrigerated. I don't know how they get away with it, but when I want the rice noodles, that's where I go to get it.
Why do they have to be refrigerated?
Pardon me?
Why do they have to be refrigerated?
I don't know because I have never in all my life, and I'm almost 60 years old, I have never bought rice noodles that went bad, that were just sitting on the shelf. Never. It's something about rice just keeps for a while. Yeah. So I don't know why they make you refrigerate it, because after you refrigerate it, it just loses that texture, that really nice, because it's, it's soft.
Or the dry ones are not refrigerated?
No. You know how they make rice? Gene, why don't you tell them how they make rice noodles? Please.
The rice noodles is actually they do a rice that they cook into a liquid, and the rice is ground down really thin, almost like a flour, like a rice flour. And they cook it, or they basically mix it almost like a batter, but it's very thin. And then they have these sheets of, like a silk, and it's over steamed water, and they will pour it over, and it will flow out over this sheet, and it'll steam. The steam's coming up underneath it, and so it's maybe like a 1/16 of an inch thick, and it'll steam almost right away. And as soon as it gets sort of set, they will roll it, and they'll fold it, and then they'll cut it. And then when you pull it apart, all the fold, because they've cut it, it becomes these flat rice noodles. So it's a fresh noodle, and they make it fresh all the time. In fact, and they set it in the stores in the morning, and it's usually, bought up by the end of the day. That's why they don't really refrigerate, because it's a fresh noodle that's made. But they don't refrigerate it because what happens if you refrigerate it, it starts to get dry and hard. But as long as it's fresh, it's very soft. So when you get it and you cook it that same day, and you can cook it like any other noodle dish and season it, the same way. It's just that it's a soft kind of springy noodle. They do it at Chinese restaurants and Asian restaurants. They'll do that. It's a flat rice noodle. Sometimes it's fairly wide, but that's how it's made. They also make sort of these rice rolls. So if you went to a dim sum restaurant, they would do the same thing. Do that, they would fill it when they rolled it, and then there would be a roll. When you cut it, it's just really like fresh. It's just soft, and then you fill it with whatever onions or fish or meat or whatever they do, and it's very delicious. That's how I do it.
I buy packaged, not the fresh. So it's sort of like it's like packaged spaghetti.
Right. They
So-
come dry too because they're, the rice noodles that they have is like what the Vietnamese uses for pho.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
it's
right.
basically, it's a rice noodle, and they do dry them, and then you can dehydrate them, and hydrate them again. Just hydrate them, and then you can use them. But,
I've never bought fresh.
really,
Well,
we'll
maybe-
have to do a class of
Yeah.
fresh rice noodles.
Maybe
Because
one
there's
time
so many
we'll-
ways of doing it.
What I have to do is do a field trip to the big Asian market.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
And you go to the aisles and start, telling you guys what things are and what is used, because the Asian markets have so much vegetarian things that are not in the regular markets. And they are, different types of vegetables, it's a totally different kind of a market. You'll have some of the same things, but you'll see they do different vegetables. They have a mustard green that's different than, the American or southern mustard greens and stuff. So.
Gene, do you mind stirring this for me so I can get the
Yeah, many times, if you're not familiar with it, if you're in an Asian market, you feel a little lost because there's just so much and everything looks the same. You may have aisles and aisles of seasonings and aisles of... For what we do here, you can go through and then just say, these are the kind of things that you would get if you want to just have a nice vegetarian meals that you can cook. All the, mushroom sauces and the this seasoning, mushroom seasoning, and different things that you can get there that will kind of add to your, things that you can cook, just widen your range. Yes.
A restaurant here in the Simi Valley that has good.
Well, there are a few that you can get, but it's hard to get like all vegetarian or that. But if you eat a little bit of meat, then yeah, there is some nice ones. Actually, the Mongolian barbecue isn't bad because they cook it fresh in front of you, and it's fun. It's nice. But we found that since we moved here, we cook at home almost all the time. And one thing is your food budget goes down by, about 60%, at least. Because, you can feed a lot of people for about $5 cooking at home versus maybe $50 eating outside. So it's a big savings, right? And you can cook, like you have our recipe book. By the time we're done here, between our last few sessions and now, we probably have over 50 recipes already. So if you add one or two to your, and just try them, just stay with them, cook them a few times until you get the hang of it. Then you have one additional dish, and pretty soon, you know, you have enough stuff that you can try and eat at home pretty easily and super healthy. You know, so that's the goal, is to change what we do, because when you go out to eat, if you ever get a chance, go on Netflix and look at this documentary called, you know, Fed Up. It's really interesting how food has changed, and even though they've put a whole bunch of reduced fat food out there, you know, what we're actually eating isn't helping. You know, the population is not, it's not reduced fat, you know, in other words. So it's kind of interesting when you see something like that and you know that it's true, because they show it to you right off when you pull off the market, and the amount of foods that are out there, it's way proportioned the other direction, where unhealthy foods are the majority of the foods, and the healthy foods are really just in fresh produce areas and very, you know, anything that's not as processed is going to be better for you. But if you go to the market, you'll see like 80% of the food is processed. All right, Bob, we're done.
Are we ready to try the food?
We are ready.
Okay, and everybody's anxious for this. Just a couple quick things. If you haven't registered, we have a little ad over here. We'd like your name, maybe email, phone number, cell phone. We take text, write text beside it, so that if we need to get information out to you, we can do that. And we, for those that came in late, we have the recipes over here. And just to give you a quick idea, next week we're looking at Mother's Day brunch. So something completely different, but some ideas of what you can do for Mother's Day. The third week is going to be completely gluten-free. I know we've had some requests in the past that, you know, that they've had issues, and so we're going to do completely gluten-free. And then the last week is all American. So we kind of have different focuses, different themes, and the next time we do this, you may have some suggestions, and you know, please feel free to, you know, suggest something to us. Be happy to consider it. So are we ready to start?
We are. I'm going to, and you know, you can do fun things. You take an onion and peel it back, and you know, I'm all about plating. I think even when your food is simple, if you plate it right and it's pretty, you know, people really enjoy the food even more. So, you know, you can just, oh, and I think Kevin is going, are you going to do that? Bring your salad, and then you can hear.
And there's little dishes here and forks, and if you want something to drink, you can add it.
Japheth has a question.
Yes, Japheth?
I don't have a question, I just want to make a comment about cashew nuts.
About,
Okay, because she said the cashew nuts are raw.
The cashews are raw?
She said the cashew are raw.
It's not safe to eat raw cashews.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
What I'm saying is, cashew nuts are never raw.
Oh.
Cashew nut is unlike any other nut in the world. It will take me about 10-15 minutes just to explain how it's grown, you know. But that will be another subject. But I'm saying, the way it is,
Why don't you come up here,
so people can
Japheth?
see you.
Come up here so we
I
can,
almost need a color chart to show how coconut is, I mean, cashew is. There are only two plants that produce seed outside of a fruit. I think the one everybody's from there. You know what it is? Strawberry. Strawberry has seeds outside. That's what you bite it, you get the crunch. But cashew nut is a strange fruit. It's an amazing fruit. because unlike walnut, walnut, what are the other, almonds and all that, they just grow in shells. But cashew nut has a shell, but it also has a fruit. The funny part is, the seed grows before the fruit comes. And it's not inside the fruit. The seed is attached to the fruit, which is much bigger. And the nut grows out here like a kidney-shaped beans. But the cashew, the shell which it grows in, you cannot crack it and eat it. Not like an almond, pistachio, nothing. Just crack it, open it and eat it? No. That's why you'll never see any worms in a cashew nut. Because the shell it grows in is kind of a cellular structure. It's hollow in between, and each little tiny hole in it has an acid. If you, unknowingly bite into it, it'll burn your mouth. It's so strong. It's stronger than your stomach acid. So no bug wants to get into it. And because of that, it doesn't grow inside the fruit. It grows outside. Another funny part is, the cashew fruit in the same tree, it could have a green fruit, a red fruit, yellow fruit. They all grow in the same thing. That's what we call cashew an impertinent fruit, just like some people are. They're very impertinent. So in other words, cashew nut, it tries to get out before the fruit comes out. So, but in order to remove the nut from the shell, answering your question, it has to be thrown in fire. They burn the seed, the nut, till all the acid, you could see that when you throw a nut into the fire, you could see the acid trying to get out, hissing and coming out of it and burning. And then when it's all completely charred, then they crack the nut and take the flesh off. So when you say raw, it is raw because it's white in the package. You're used to the roasted and the salted ones, but the raw one is already cooked inside the shell. So it's never raw, but that's where the market is.
Thank you, Jacob.
Okay, come on up.
I have to say.
I'm worried about you.
Did you need another plate?
Give me that.
Ice water?
No, this is the spaghetti. This is the spaghetti.
This one is this is a gluten-free one, right?
Yes. Well, the noodles are a little finicky, with gluten. no gluten to
Yeah, they tend to break up a little bit, so you know they don't hold the shape as well.
And all things. Yeah. But for the sake of the moment.
And also to let you know, I'll tell you about these, they're not any tangerines. They're pixie tangerines from Ojai. And I don't know if you've ever had them, but they're
delicious.
super sweet, no seeds.
No seeds. They're just
So they're not
delicious.
cuties, they're not halos, they're actually pixies from
No,
Ojai.
it's okay. I'm sorry. I won't.
And the drinks that I usually put out are just some juice, that's organic natural juice. In this case, it's just a natural orange juice. And I just add sparkling water. This one is I'll get that. Let me know if having a drink. Because not enjoy. Want to try the dressing on its own, or you feel you want a little bit more dressing, please come and help yourself. And this is the mushroom seasoning, just open it up and let me get No.
Oh, you just use
This
that.
is my mom. She loves to take things that we buy and put them in all different little bottles, and then she'll put a little tag on it. So that's my mom and dad live with us. So, and she's a
Oh, I need one more.
Is the flax meal used as like a flour, the same amount, like, or is it just an addition?
No, you know what, I did it so that there's 2 cups of flour. So what I did was I used a quarter of a cup of the coconut, quarter of a cup of the almond. I just did a tablespoon of flax and then finished off a quarter of a cup with each of those. Okay, so now we have all of our flours done. I put in sea salt already, and I used the energy baking powder for each of those. I put that in. Well, I didn't use the energy. I used Trader Joe's. If you notice, it says if you use the energy brand to use twice as much, but I used Trader Joe's. It's double acting, so I only put in 1 tablespoon. And it's aluminum free. I tend to go with the aluminum free. I think it's better for you.
Excuse me, Jan, what is the energy?
It's a brand name,
That's all it is, I mean, how come you
but
use-
it's aluminum free also.
Why do you use twice as much of it?
It's not double acting.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So if it's double acting, 1 tablespoon only?
right. That's correct. Uh-huh. So we're gonna just mix this up a little bit before we put the liquids in. And as I said, you're guinea pigs tonight, so we'll see how this turns out. And then we add the milk. And I used the Soy Delicious coconut milk. And I brought more in case I need to make more so that everybody can taste these. have the coconut milk for here. Then it says to add 2 tablespoons of honey. And what I'm going to do there is I am going to spray my tablespoon so the honey runs off of it. Nice little trick. So it just makes it a whole lot easier to, you know, you don't have a bunch of sticky stuff left. Okay. And now I'm going to mix these and then let it sit for 5 minutes so that the baking powder can activate and make it lighter. And then I will fry these up as others do their demonstration. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to completely destroy the double acting. But it's really a fairly easy recipe, not too complicated.
We could use any kind of flour we really want to.
Yeah, you know, my sister, I just spent a week with my sister. My sister's a gourmet cook, and we have fun. She collects all these recipes, and then we try different things out. And so we made pancakes. I made pancakes this last Sunday, and I used teff flour and amaranth flour or something, amaranth flour, and I used what was the other one? I think buckwheat or something, you know, and did a 3-grain waffle from that. And the teff flour is going to be a little bit heavier, and so you'll want to make sure that, you know, when you're experimenting with it, you know, that you do some stuff that makes it lighter if you're going to use that. But, you know, it turned out really good. We put macadamia nuts in one, and we did we used white chocolate chips in one with macadamia nuts, and the other one we did semi-sweet chocolates with pecans or pecans. So, I mean, we do different things, and then we served it with a coconut syrup. All right, I'm gonna just let these sit, and then I'll fry them up while somebody else is demonstrating.
And here we are. Raymond, did you know that the best antibiotic is the garlic?
That's good to know.
They say that the best antibiotic is garlic. Well, sometimes you hear about Mediterranean diet. What do you think Mediterranean diet consists of?
Fish.
Huh? Fish? Yes, fish. But you know what the Mediterranean, well, I'm Armenian, okay? I come from Middle East. Garlic, olive oil, lemon, parsley. In everything you see garlic, lemon, parsley, onion, you know, the whole thing runs around this thing. So today, I made this beautiful salad, but I'm going to destroy it in a few minutes because I forgot something to go in there. So in your recipes, write 1 teaspoonful of sugar. All what it is fennel. You buy it from I bought it from Trader Joe because it comes packaged. You know, not everybody is touching them. So I take this and wash it. really good. And then after I wash it, I cut it in half. So I specially put the cellophane on it so I can show it to you. I cut it in half. Then I put it in my bowl.
You want us to pass it around?
Yeah, well, I will enjoy. First, I put 4 cloves of shredded garlic. You like more? Put more. And then I put 2 heaping spoons of pure olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Okay? So now you have the garlic, you have the olive oil, and I like to use sweet onion, sweet Maui onion. It doesn't get too strong for your stomach, you know. Sometimes if you use the other garlic, it hurts some people's stomach. So sweet garlic cannot hurt your stomach. Then, sweet onion, sorry, thank you. And then lemon. Now once you have that in your bowl, I take the funnel, wash it, cut it in half, and then cut it in quarter, and then I chop. And then mix it all together with a little, where's the sugar?
Right there in front of you.
A little bit of teaspoonful of sugar to take the bitterness out. But today, in my hurry, I came from San Fernando Valley, in my hurry, I forgot to put my little sugar. And then you mix it all very good, and then you sprinkle it with parsley.
Looks good.
And it has a very pleasant smell, I mean taste. And you know, if you have a big meal and you get upset at your stomach, this is the best salad to eat. When I eat this salad, my stomach doesn't hurt. Father, there's something licorice, like he said, that helps your stomach. And I put some garlic, some parsley to make it look more attractive. See, the food is not what it tastes only, it has to look attractive. If it's attractive, even if it's the worst tasting, you want to taste it. So that's what I made. Now I'm going to mess it up because I want to put a little bit of this sugar so that it will taste better when you try it. So on your recipes, please write 1 teaspoonful of sugar. 1 teaspoon of sugar. Oh, okay, I forgot something else. You put paprika. It says here smoked paprika. Just a little bit sprinkle it. And there is a seasoning. It's called the Aleppo seasoning. It's a pepper, but it's not too hot a pepper. It's mild, but somehow it gives a very good taste to the food. I don't know what it is. It's imported from Aleppo, Syria. So it gives very good taste. My kids first didn't want to try it, but now when they try it, they say, Mother, please send us a little package of Aleppo pepper. So sprinkle your Aleppo pepper, it's better.
And where do you find that?
Oh, I buy it from Valley Produce, they carry it. They have it hot, which I like it, but I didn't use it here. I use the medium hot. You sprinkle all that, and you mix it, it becomes a delicious salad. So I better put my sugar here. And mess up my design.
I know we all say that, but mine, I think, are the easiest. So let's do it. The first one that I'll do is the vegan morning sausages. Okay? And I think this is, the other one that I will be doing is the easiest French toast ever. Now, that one is really the easiest, but this is pretty easy too. So everybody take out the vegan breakfast sausage patties. And I am going to begin with quinoa. How many of you use quinoa in your cooking? It's very, very good for you, very high in protein, and it's just excellent. They say it's one of the better grains ancient things to eat. So I'm taking 1 cup of quinoa, and have you ever tried this? It's a sausage style. It's by Give Me Lean Light Life, and I'm just going to use it in there. Very simple. And I was actually experimenting with this at home. I say experimenting because we like to try different things also, like all of us, right? So we started to put all kinds of herbs and spices and red bell pepper, and it was so good that my family ate them. And I wanted to bring them here so that I wouldn't have to make so many. So we don't have as much as I planned, but I guess that attests to that it was pretty good. So in the recipe, I did not put in the herbs, but I brought some here, and you can do whatever you want with it. But anyway, okay. So I have my sausage and my quinoa, and now maple syrup. Real maple syrup. Okay, so it's not the fake stuff, and it just tastes better. We don't like all the sugar and processed as much. So 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and you can put more if you want. This is a ½ tablespoon, so it's gonna look like I'm putting a lot, but.
Where did you get your sausage?
The sausage I got at Vaughn's. Vaughn's, a lot of markets have it. I'm going to put a little bit more, if that's okay, just a little bit more. Okay, so I put 2½ tablespoons of maple syrup. And then I also have liquid smoke. I don't know if any of you use it, but it's just for flavoring. And I'm just going to put 1/4 teaspoon, so very little. Just to give it a little bit of a smoke flavor. There's the liquid smoke. Now you need to wet your hands, otherwise it will stick to you. And just mix it in and season, and that's it. And put it on the grill. Is that pretty easy? Very easy.
Now, you said you used red bell peppers in your recipe at home?
The crushed peppers, like
okay, so it's a
pizza,
little
or
spicy.
a little bit spicy. So if you like it spicy, if that's an irritant to your stomach, you can use cayenne pepper. That's not as hard on. They say it doesn't even irritate the stomach.
And what other spices do you put in there?
What I have here is I have thyme, nutmeg. You can put sage in it. It's really good with sage.
So pretty much anything to homemade sausage. Sausage spice.
Go. That's good.
That's time.
That's time. Thank you.
This is ground nutmeg.
Like a fourth of a teaspoon is what I normally put. We're just having fun, right? Let's see what happens. Like that. Okay, and let's see, what did I have another one? Oh, do we want to spice it with red peppers a little bit? Yes, no? May I see a show of hands for yes? And or no is the other.
We'll put mild.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Mild, so it won't hurt you.
That's good. Excellent. Okay, that's it. And I believe that my grill is ready. And mix it well. Wet your hands. And it is sticky. So, you all know how to cook. So, do it with your fingers, not at the palm of your hand because you can't get it off. And I'm making them like the size of a walnut, as it says in the recipe. So that's it. So I'll start that. Kind of look like the morning star, right? It's a little different, but the fun thing is that you know what you're putting into it, and you can season it however you like. All right, so I'm going to start the next recipe. recipe and finish that up later. One moment, I need to wash my hands.